Why is team building and development vital for the success of a warehouse? I'm Greg Schenkel, President of Unique Training and Development and Frontline Leadership Systems, and today we need to take a look at the topic of team building and development. Now, some of you might already be going, oh my gosh, do we really need to spend time on team building? Isn't that so 90s in terms of training and development? Well, I think that feeds into one of the biggest myths around team building, that it's just an excuse to get out of the office, and if we just go out golfing or playing ropes and trust falls and that sort of thing, are we really going to gain a lot from that? And I hear you, because I'm not convinced that some of the things that we typically have done around team building have really resulted in the kinds of gains that are needed to make high-performance teams. Now, a Salesforcecom study showed that employees, as well as 97% of leaders, felt that the lack of alignment within teams was probably the biggest issue contributing to any failures and any issues that cropped up in different projects. So this idea of team cohesiveness and being aligned and on the same page really makes a difference to the success of many projects. So we had one rapidly going distribution business, and a new general manager came in and wanted to make some improvements in operating performance because it had been suffering at that particular location. Some new team members had joined the team, and what could be evident is that there really wasn't a cohesive understanding even amongst the leadership team as to what the problems were and then what the potential projects and solutions could be. So we got them together and we ran them through a fairly straightforward workshop, and I'm going to share those components with you in this leader feeder. And as a result of that, they got onto the same page and started to make some significant gains in their operating performance over time, simply by paying attention to the group dynamics of the team, making sure that they had higher levels of trust. So I'm going to share with you what I think are the 3 great activities to consider including in a team building / development retreat. And this really works towards team building and development. The first activity is called Walk a Mile in My Shoes. Now, just the title itself probably has you thinking, hey, I think I can figure this one out. What we do is have people in a team start to put themselves in the shoes of other departments or functions and think about what the key objectives of those other departments are, what the key frustrations are that aggravate them and prevent them from hitting their goals, and what kinds of support could other departments lend to contributing to the success of that department. And by rotating themselves into the shoes of these other functions, the team starts to develop a better understanding on the leadership level as to what others are dealing with and how they can contribute and collaborate to having just one team. Second topic that might be part of your team building and development would be emotional intelligence. Now, this is a little bit of a fad topic, probably the last several years, but when you distill it down, really having this understanding of how do we look after one another and contribute to the psychological safety of the group, and also just how do we make sure that we're talking to each other in ways that are both respectful, but also possibility revealing. So emotional intelligence can be a good exercise for your team to go through. Now, one of the most popular topics that we'll often include in a team development session is our team-based problem solving and decision making. Now, this is cool because we usually use some form of a survival simulation, and folks have to first individually and then in teams figure out what their strategy is going to be and which items are most important or least important. What we find is when the teams go through that, the highest performing teams are the ones where it's not really a competition where I'm trying to convince you that my thoughts and decisions were better than yours, but really this collaborative way of maximizing the participation and involvement of people, even those people who are quieter and maybe less confident. How do we make sure that we're not overlooking a gem of an idea from those folks, or just listening to the loud people speak and going in that direction? And one of the key takeaways for many leaders in that activity is that the leader has to watch that they don't speak too early in the process, because many people will just fall in line with whatever the leader says. And many leaders like the fact that people just go along with their ideas, but ask yourself whether, are you really allowing the team to contribute ideas and suggestions? So the great takeaways from those 3 things, this idea of team building and development, is that by putting myself in the shoes of other folks with Walk a Mile in my shoes, helping broadening and deepening my understanding of emotional intelligence, and then looking at better ways of managing team problem solving and decision making, those are really good tactical skills. But at the same time, you're building the camaraderie of the group as they go through those learning activities. So once you've worked on building a more cohesive leadership team using team building, you might decide you want to work on some of your other leadership skills. And of course, we've got a very comprehensive frontline leadership program that can be beneficial. And the neat thing is there's probably a total of 6 days of content, but most people start with a few days of content and then build from there. And you can check all that out on our website at uniquedevelopment.com, and perhaps you can reach out to us and start a conversation through the website at uniquedevelopment.com, and we can see what is the right solution that will help to build the skills of your team, whether that involves us coming on site or delivering from our state-of-the-art virtual training studio. We can usually put together an interesting solution for you that gets you the results that you're looking for. And usually most customers will build on that into a much longer and more comprehensive program. But it all starts with one small step, and that's visiting our website at uniquedevelopment.com. I look forward to helping your team become high performing and therefore in turn creating high performance in your organization.